students, welcome back to grammar class. Today we'll begin our journey into the world of transitive and intransitive verbs. Before we start learning about transitive and intransitive verbs, let's understand through example. Read the sentences given. I love chocolates. I gave Haider a pen. The sentences above have two parts, subject and predicate. The words love and gave indicate action and are called verbs. The predicate has two elements, verb and object. Check the sentence breakdown of the given example. Words that describe an action, possession, or a state of being are called verbs. There are different types of verbs. They are verbs of action, verbs of being, transitive verbs, intransitive verbs. Transitive verbs. The noun used in the first sentence in the previous example completes the meaning of the verb love. The direct object answers the question what. Therefore, the noun chocolates is the direct object of the verb love in the sentence. The predicate in the second sentences in the previous example has verb is gave, indirect object Haider, direct object pen. A sentence's meaning is incomplete without the objects. An object completes the meaning of the sentences when a type of verb is used. Transitive verbs are the verbs that must have an object or objects to complete the meaning of the sentences. The verbs gave and love in the two sentences of the previous examples have objects. Therefore, these verbs are transitive verbs. Intransitive verbs. Intransitive verbs are the verbs that do not require an object to complete its meaning. There are two types of intransitive verbs. Verbs of action, verbs of incomplete prediction. Let's look at an example. The girl smiled. Check the sentence breakdown of this example. Verbs of action. The verb smiled used in the above example indicates action. Therefore, the verb smiled in the sentence is a verb of action. It is also a complete verb in itself and does not need an object. Hence, this is an intransitive verb. Verbs of incomplete prediction. Predications are verbs that do not require an object but some other word or verbs to make complete sense. Those words or phrases are called the complement of the verb. There are two types of verb complements. A subject complement tells us more about the subject. An object complement tells us more about the object. Let's take an example. The tiger is the national animal of India. The verb is links the subject, tiger, to the complement, the national animal of India. The sentence would make no sense and is incomplete without the complement, the national animal of India. The phrase the national animal of India adds meaning to the sentence. Therefore, it is called a complement. National animal of India is the complement that refers to the subject, tiger. The verb is used in the sentence above makes incomplete sense without an object. Therefore, it is a verb of incomplete prediction. Verbs of prediction are also known as linking verbs as they are used to link two parts of the sentences. Check some examples given. From the given examples, we can see that the subject and complement used in these sentences refer to the same person or thing. The verbs in these sentences are used to link the subject and the complement. The complement tells us more about the subject, thus we call it a subject complement. Complements are also used with some verbs of action. Okay, now read these sentences. The audience made him the superstar. We found him in a bad condition. The school appointed Mr. Peter the principal. I consider him trustworthy. The bold words in the sentences are complements because the sentences would not make complete sense without them. These complements come after a transitive verb plus an object in a sentence. They tell us more about the object, hence they are called object complements. Practice time. Pause and answer the questions. Check the answer. Alright children, great job today everyone. Keep practicing and don't forget to subscribe for more fun lessons. See you next time.